Okay, the time is 6 o'clock, and we will call this City Council regular meeting on Monday, May 11th, 2026, to order. All stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, I would like to remind council to please have your microphones on, and if staff can please make sure that you do the same, please. Thank you. We will call the roll.
Mayor Donovan?
Here.
Councilwoman Niner?
Here.
Councilman Doomer?
Here.
Councilman Patterson?
Here.
Councilwoman Elliott?
Here.
Quorum being present, we will proceed. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Niner?
Yes.
Councilman Doomer?
Yes.
Councilman Patterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Elliott?
Yes.
Okay, the agenda passes. Do you have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. All right, want to thank all of our visitors today. We have a couple recognitions to make before we get into public comment. So first, Chief Wright, if you would come up, please. You've already gotten these, so it's no big deal, but I want to show them and you off. I wrote a little something about Tommy. Tonight we recognize Chief Tommy Wright for his dedicated service to the city of Pleasant Hill and an incredible 30-year career in law enforcement. And over the past 4 years in Pleasant Hill, Chief Wright has built more than a police department. He has built a culture of mentorship, professionalism, teamwork, and trust. Through community engagement and his focus on connecting with our youth, he strengthened relationships across our city and made a lasting impact on this community. The response to his retirement has shown just how respected and appreciated he is. And fittingly, he leaves us on a high note as the recipient of the Missouri Police Chiefs Association Chief of the Year Award. We thank you for your service and the legacy that you're leaving behind.
Been my honor. Thank you, sir.
So these are the plaques that he received. He is the top cop. We'll actually have a little bit more for him once we get to his actual retirement party. Next, I'd like to bring up the Honorable Roger Potter. This is the first time I think I'm ever meeting you, which is a good thing.
I think it's a tribute. I don't know anything. You're professional. Congratulations.
So we would like to also recognize your retirement, and you have faithfully served the city of Pleasant Hill since 1994. When the city council decided to transition from an elected non-attorney judge to a professional appointed municipal judge. They asked the respected local attorney, Roger Potter, at the time, and he has served our community ever since. While I am very thankful that I've never had to appear before you, I deeply appreciate your professionalism, your integrity, and the steady leadership that you've brought to our city for more than 30 years. And so, Judge Potter, thank you for your service, and
It's been an honor.
congratulations. Okay, I don't see Jeff Wilson, but I wrote a little something for him too, so. So finally tonight, we also recognize Jeff Wilson for his 18 years of service and leadership as the president of the Historic Preservation Commission. Jeff has been a true champion for preserving the character and history of Pleasant Hill. What made Jeff so valuable to the Historic Preservation Commission was that he never simply said no. Instead, he'd work alongside applicants to help them find ways to meet preservation standards while still making projects practical and achievable. Jeff's dedication has helped preserve not just buildings, but the story and identity of Pleasant Hill itself. And if anybody has ever talked with Jeff, I'm sure that you've heard plenty of his stories. We are deeply grateful for his years of service and also for the lasting legacy he leaves behind. And we'll make sure that he gets his certificate as well. Okay. On to public comments. If you would like to say a few words on something that's not on the agenda, please step to the podium, say your name and your address, and we ask that you keep all of your comments to under 3 minutes, please.
Martin Dotson, 126 North Lake Street. And this is actually on the signs. One, I'm the commander of VFW Post 3118 here in Pleasant Hill. And we are a nonprofit, so whenever we're going to limit or prohibit signs put up by a nonprofit, just know that the VFW puts up a sign, or 5 signs, that are up for no more than 60 days a year. We put them up on Tuesday morning before our breakfast, and they come down on Sunday morning after our breakfast. So one, charging a nonprofit or limiting what they can put out, as long as the signs are professional looking, could hurt a lot of different organizations here in town. So I want you to just think about that whenever you're thinking about the limiting or banning signs that are put up. Also, the curbs that were put in on Country Club. Notice several driveways that are nice and smooth, but the driveway for, both driveways for VFW Post are high. We've had a few that's actually scraped coming in. I've got it's not a low sitting car, but we've also had a motorcycle that had its kickstand ripped off trying to get into our parking lot. So we need you guys to take a look at our entrance and see if you can help us fix that issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Self, 205 South Campbell. I had requested in a meeting a few months ago about doing something to restore the lighting at the Veterans Memorial. down by the post office, and nothing's been done. I don't know if that is under the city's purview or if that falls under some sort of nonprofit or state jurisdiction. But I would like to ask again to have something done, and I would like to volunteer my time and money to make that happen if that's what's needed, so that that's not a burden to the city. But I do feel that that's very important. I would like to see that addressed. Thank you.
Which lighting is it?
Well, the light for the American flag is broken and doesn't light. It used to just lay on the ground, but at least it was lit. And then there's 5 circumferential lights around the monument, and only one of them works. So they're supposed to make a star when you view it from above, and it's kind of crippled at the moment, so. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Rob Gear, 1804 Chelsea. I just wanted to end by thanking Tommy again for his several years of service to the community. Just make sure that whenever you do officially reside, that they don't ring the doorbell at 1:30 in the morning, and they just push enter on the garage door. But I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
So actually, I didn't know, I'm the mayor of East Lynn, Charlie Blaylock, and I see we're on the agenda, so I can,
Yeah, you're
I
next.
can pass on my public comments.
Yes. Is there anyone else that would like to say anything before we continue? All right. Moving on to the special request application for the city of East Lynn and East Lynn Rodeo, the portable bleachers.
Thank you, Mayor. What you have in front of you this evening is, there's a memo in your packet. It's basically the same request that we had from Mayor Blaylock and the City of East Lynn and the East Lynn Rodeo Committee. And they're asked to use the portable bleachers for their event. This year it is on September 11th and 12th of 2026. So at this point, if you want to ask any questions, you can do so. And at this time, the staff is just recommending approval of their request.
Same request as last year.
Same request as last year.
Yes.
Sorry, yes.
Yep.
You couldn't hear my head shaking. You're nodding. Sorry.
Who's transporting those? Who's
We
rolling?
do, the rodeo committee does.
Oh, you all
Yeah.
come up.
Sorry, yes, that is correct. Our staff met with them just to get them all hooked up and make sure everything was fine, but then they do transport them.
I'll make a motion to approve the special events application for the, what am I looking for? The portable bleachers.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion from council? We have a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Niner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Doomer, Yes. Councilman Patterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Elliott.
Yes.
All right. Thank
All
you
right,
very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate you giving up your chair. Okay, the next item for consideration is another special events application, this time from downtown Pleasant Hill for their second annual summer foam party.
Sorry, one second. Downtown Pleasant Hill Inc. has requested to host their second annual summer foam party as part of their First Friday series. They've rented the gazebo park and would like to utilize Depot Way for the foam portion of the event. So for this, they are requesting closure of Depot Way from 5:30 to 5:30 to 8:30 to facilitate the setup and execution of the foam play portion of the event. So this would require city council's approval of a temporary street closure.
Is there any discussion?
This is the same thing they did last year also,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the special events application for the Depot Way Gazebo Park.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Niner,
Yes.
Councilman Doomer,
I'll abstain.
Councilman Patterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Elliott.
Yes.
Okay, that special events application is passed. The next item for consideration is the Grays Lot Use Agreement with the Pleasant Hill Historic District. So just so everybody understands, I'm gonna talk a little bit about how we got to where we got, okay? The historic district, so back in 1989, the state of Missouri launched a state-funded downtown revitalization program, officially known as Missouri Main Street Program. And this program was based upon the Main Street approach that was developed by the National Trust for the Historic Preservation Main Street Center. 5 communities were selected to participate in a 3-year pilot program. And in March of 2000, the city was granted ownership of the parcels that were formerly Gray's Hardware following a collapse of a building. In 2005, the 501c3 of Missouri Main Street Connection was formed. In 2010, the Fairgrounds Master Plan was created. And so the reason why we're bringing up the Fairgrounds Master Plan was because a goal was identified that this was going to be a robust trailhead in that location, okay? February of 2013, the Downtown Strategic Plan by PGAV planners was completed and presented. And this community-involved session highlighted the use of Gray's Lot for a farmer's market structure. And it was noted in the executive summary that throughout the planning process, several key attractions, anchors desired by the community were identified. And this included a farmer's market venue located at the intersection of Wyoming and First Street. In May of 2013, we had the Rock Island Corridor Plan, and that was completed. The plan studied transportation-oriented development opportunities specific to downtown Pleasant Hill, and we were a key trail-oriented with key trail opportunities. January 2014, through a MRC Planning Sustainable Places grant, the city completed a downtown revitalization and Trailtown implementation plan. And this document provided key steps to turn plans into reality. It too was completed and with community input to develop Pleasant Hill from a rail town to trail town. And that also had a farmer's market structure laid out for the 2013 project. Also in this document, it is noted that while a formal Main Street organization does not exist, Pleasant Hill has adopted the 4-point approach with the existing group, the Downtown Association, which then became the Pleasant Hill Historic District. All right. In this plan, there was improvements to the fairgrounds. The farmer's market was referenced. There was a implementation matrix of high priority for public amenities. There was a design checklist and which a design checklist that calls for human scale night lighting, and at the time the downtown didn't have that. Let's see, April of 2015, the city completed the Missouri Community Betterment's Feel Like Home Tour. During this presentation, it was noted that the previously planned farmers market location and that funding assistance for construction could be available through Missouri Department of Natural Resources through their Land and Water Conservation Fund. The grant, if the city could restore these funds, if the land in which it was located is designated as a park, and the pavilion could be used during opposite seasons for recreational purposes. June of 2017, former city administrator Sean Hennessy sent an email to the then leadership team to prioritize capital improvements to include in a possible upcoming bond issue. This list included a farmer's market structure. 2017, the Main Street program discussion with council. This is September of 2017. The former city administrator Sean Hennessy had attended a presentation on the Main Street approach and felt that a joint meeting with the city and the Downtown Association would be beneficial to begin the process with the goal of improving the downtown occupancy rate and downtown revitalization. October of 2017, during this council update, it was indicated that a meeting was held with Community Betterment regarding the formation of a Main Street program, and it was very well received. November 2017, a community meeting was held regarding the creation of the Main Street program. February of 2018, resolution number 15-543 was approved to commit the city's support and authorization for the formation of a local Missouri Main Street program. This resolution, the city committed $4,800. The other half of the total $9,600 was provided by the downtown CID. City staff prepared the application and submitted it prior to the deadline. April of 2018, council minutes included an update to council on the Main Street application by former city administrator Sean Hennessy, and it had been received. This would kick off the process of establishing what is now known as the Pleasant Hill Historic District. Everybody on board with this so far? Okay. August 2018, the Main Street startup meeting was held and 19 people were present. November 2018, Missouri Main Street Town Hall was held. May of 2019, the last Downtown Association meeting and the introduction of the Pleasant Hill Historic Board members occurred. Funds from the Downtown Association were given to the Downtown CID. The Pleasant Hill Historic District was created in 2019 when the former Downtown Association and the city collaborated to become a Main Street affiliate community. They had 8,529 volunteer hours in 2025 and invested approximately $35,000 into downtown. Those numbers sound right? January 2020, Missouri Main Street training was held. Let's see, we're getting close, people.
It's confusing with the history lesson. I'm just confused a little bit, like.
Oh, I'll get to it.
Okay, super. I love that.
August of 2021, former city administrator Shelby Tufel made a presentation to council for the downtown planning work session. It was indicated in the presentation of the two former community plans that were developed, and the projects proposed in the downtown have come. So all of the other plans have come from these two plans. February of 2023, PHHD applied to City Council with a special event application to host a downtown farmers market. The request went before the council. The request included the use of Gray's Lot for the events on Saturdays from 7 to noon, May 6th through November 4th. The vendors would be on Gray's Lot with parking on 2nd Street. The vote was tabled until the February 27th meeting. February 27th, two special events applications were presented to City Council for a farmers market. One of them from PHHD and one of them from Debbie Amon. Both applications were approved despite the desire for the two groups to work together. November 1st, 2023, Shelby Tufel, email to Shelby from Carla on behalf of PHHD. We're wanting to partner even more with the city in order to make our nonprofit market the catalyst that can work on fundraising donations to help build the Farmers Market Pavilion per the plan the city adopted in 2013 for Gray's Lot. January 8th, 2024, agenda item number 8 was presented to the council for PHHD conceptual discussion for a structure on Gray's Lot. The minutes from these meetings are as follows.
Mayor, I would like to interrupt just a second. Is there a reason that we're reading all of these minutes?
So
Part of their public record.
Well, but part of the reason that I'm reading them is because there's been a miscommunication of the board and everything for the Downtown Association into PHHD has changed. The council and the mayor and things here have changed. And one thing that hasn't happened is both sides, I don't think, have seen or heard what has got us to this point. So there's been a lot of different plans that have taken place and a lot of different things that have gone on that the way I see it is this train was put in motion a long time ago. And so there's some of us are new to the discussion.
Well, I would agree
And some
that,
of us aren't.
I mean, I'm just as new as anybody else, but I don't see that we need to go back and rehash something from 2017 clear to today. We just need to make a synopsis of what's going on and where we need to go to move forward. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, my thought was to try to have a discussion between the two groups to try to work this out.
Between
Um,
city and
Did-
Between-
Well, nobody seemed to ask
Yes.
for that though, like, I don't think there was massive confusion in the room for it. You know, but we got
so-
a history lesson, which was wonderful, but I don't think that there was confusion and no one here raised a concern or question for this. And then I just think you could probably work it like the other bullet points we've worked through so far, would kind of make the most sense for everyone's time.
Ma'am, could you step to the podium, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't hear me. I'm sorry about that. All I was,
If you can say your name and your address.
Caitlin Marlowe, and I'm at 115 Wyoming. And I was just gonna say, all the other bullet points went pretty quick and smooth. And I was just confused
Okay.
as to
So-
why we have to have a history lesson.
So if you weren't here for the last meeting, it got,
I watch them.
okay.
I
Well,
watch.
I mean, so that.
I've got 2 kids.
The whole situation with the last meeting, that was why I thought it might be necessary for us to go through and get how we got to where we're at. Now, if everybody has an understanding of the history, then let's go right to the item and let's see what
I mean, I
happens.
can't speak for everyone. I'm not trying to be rude. I just
It-
thought it seemed like it was ticking along pretty nicely.
It's okay.
Okey dokey.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
I'm fine.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, fabulous. Thank you.
And so the raised lot use agreement is our next item. Do we have a motion to approve?
Does the historical district, are you guys even okay with a legal agreement like this?
Can I come up?
So,
She's in charge.
Come on.
She's in charge.
I mean, I voted to approve it last
Okay.
time.
Right. So a couple of different things are at play
fine,
here.
if you can just, again, say your name and address for the record.
My name is Bonnie Chambers, and I'm at 124 South First Street. And I made a presentation at the last council meeting to ask the council for a vote on bringing electric to the gazebos. And then we got routed around to a use agreement, which is an agreement between the historic district and the city. That has come about, and I think we're about to take a vote on that, which the historic district hasn't approved that agreement yet. We've read it and have seen it, but the vote that we were trying to get to was for electrical. And I brought our electrician here tonight to explain more about the holes that were in that plan that left people on the council wondering and not able to vote last time. And here we are. So if we're bringing that agreement to a vote from council, the use agreement, it's premature in that the Pleasant Hill Historic District also has a board that must vote on any agreement. So, does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
so this,
So I was.
this, okay.
Go ahead.
Hold on. So the situation that we have with it is, at the last meeting, the discussion ended with the city administrator asking if we should have some kind of agreement, and information about how we got to where we were.
Agreed.
Okay? So what was brought before the council now is information about how we got to where we were and the use agreement. Now, if the city, if the council wants to go ahead and vote for this use agreement, then it will be then sent to PHHD for their approval as well. However, I would have rather it been a deal where we just sat down and talked to each other. And so I mean,
It wasn't my idea.
so if, well,
Misunderstood.
yeah, so I think the problem with it was and I will take full blame for this, okay? In that meeting, I said, yes, I would like to see an agreement and information brought forth. However, when I ended that, I had said that I would like us to just have a conversation and possible work session, so that way we could all sit down and discuss this thing through and everybody be on board. I think what's happened is that there's new people and some people just don't understand what the vision was, what the vision has always been. And that's part of the reason why I went through so much of the history of it, okay?
Okay.
But at this point, you know, I'm sorry, was there a motion to accept this?
No, there's.
Okay. Is there a motion to set up a work session?
I would like a motion to have a work session. Sooner the better. They've already been waiting.
Okay.
We got a lot of events coming
Are
up.
we open for discussion?
Sure.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't have a motion to approve this agreement, so to me, it just dies on a lack of a motion. But then the electrical is a whole different issue. I mean, that we could discuss. Would that be correct?
Yeah, if we can make it, is that acceptable? Is that something we can do? Because I mean, I wanted to approve it 2 weeks ago. It's a line of 210 conduit. It's not a big deal.
And if I can speak, that was how the minutes read as well, was that it was tabled for last time, but we would bring it up again this time, which is why I brought an information man with me to help answer some of the questions to make everyone more comfortable. We did, thank you very much for making a motion last time. I wish we could have got that through then, but second best time is right now, so.
I wanted to make sure that
Bonnie, you can have a seat.
the other, the post with the electricals coming off the original electric, is that,
Would you like them to come up here?
Yes, I want to hear.
I guess the question is does it have enough power? Are we gonna have short, or is it gonna short out if we add more power?
No, you've got ample enough.
Chad, will you just state your name
I'm
for the
sorry.
record, please?
Chad Massey, 32006 State Route PD. No, that panel is more than efficient enough. I mean, we're literally talking 2 strings of LED lights that maybe has 12 lights on it. We're probably gonna pull a half an amp. So I know the other questions where people were like, who's gonna pay for the electricity of the usage of that? You guys, or somebody is paying for that meter to be there. They're getting charged $30 a month for that meter to be there, no matter how much you use it. And these LED lights are literally not gonna be seen because we're putting a timer on it as well, that you turn the timer on, it'll go off, so nobody can just leave the lights on. And then I'm pretty sure you guys even got a padlock on the panel down there that they shut the power off and padlock it, so you can't even use it unless there's an event going on. So, for as far as usage, it's not gonna be seen. I believe that panel down there is a 100 amp panel, which is more than enough to run whatever you guys need.
Thank you, Chad.
No problem.
Okay, the situation that we have though is that the agenda item is for the use agreement. It's not for.
That's correct.
So
So if you want to, I'm Jeremy Cover, I'm the city attorney. So if you want to talk about it under the use agreement, there can be a motion and a second to approve the use agreement and then discussion. Then there can either be a vote on it or that can be withdrawn. But at this point, the only part of this that is on the agenda is the use agreement. So, I mean, which includes the electric as I'm reading through it, right?
Correct. So I guess at this point, if the council was to make a motion it wouldn't be, is there any way that they could make a motion to not approve the use agreement, but to approve the electric?
Can we amend it?
So if I can just clarify really quick, really the intent with the use agreement was to do what we do with other nonprofits that utilize our spaces and just formalize what we're already doing with the historic district and then add the piece about electric so that you guys could then approve or not approve based on council direction. But the point of putting it on there with the agreement was that if you wanted the electric, you could approve the agreement all at the same time.
Can I ask you a question? So if I'm understanding what you're saying, Jeremy, is if we make a motion to approve this agreement, doesn't mean we're voting on it, we're just approving so that we can discuss it. Then we can say we want to amend it and not approve the agreement, but approve the electricity.
In the end, if you want to, that is what would give you an appropriate avenue to discuss the situation.
Okay.
If then you either want to, whether it's amend the agreement or do something different, you could do that at that point under, you need to be at that point a motion to either modify or something, depending on what you're trying to do. So yes, there is an avenue, but the only piece of this that's on the agenda is the use agreement. So any discussion should be taking place under that umbrella.
And I will make a motion to approve the use agreement.
And so, if the historical district rejects this, we can still move forward with the electrical though, right?
So yes, at this point, so we have a motion but no second, so we still need a second to talk about it. But
We still need a second.
Before I
just to have-
second it.
have
well,
discussion.
and seconding it is not necessarily
Well, I
supported.
understand.
Okay.
but we're getting in the reeds here. The electrical needs to happen.
But
Am I-
we can't discuss it until we have a
We
second.
need to have,
Okay, I'll
the
second.
motion needs, okay. So we have a motion and a second to accept the use agreement for Gray's Law. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we need to probably vote on that motion, right?
No, we have
No.
a discussion first.
Okay.
It's in, now can be discussed.
Oh.
That's, okay. Okay,
My discussion is I'm all in favor of the electricity. I did have some questions, but thank you for your answers. But I'm not in favor of the use agreement as it stands today. So I would like to try to do something to amend this or modify it to say that we can approve the electricity, but table the use agreement.
But since that's not an agenda item,
well,
We
we're
can-
we're on the agenda item of the use agreement right now.
okay.
So that's where
But
this.
if we're rejecting the use agreement, where does that leave the electrical?
Do we need to have, do we need?
So we would need to make a motion to, I'm sorry, Brenda.
Go ahead.
We would need to make a motion to approve the agreement approve the electrical without the agreement, is what we're talking about, and we're talking about it. We're not actually making a motion yet, because we haven't talked yet.
Jeremy, does that sound,
I mean,
does that sound right?
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want, if that's how you want to do it, then we can make that work. I mean, I think it just depends on what the goal is here. So I don't have the background that Kristen and Nikki have, so I'll defer to them on that. But yes, if that's the goal, then we can work with what that is.
Yes.
So maybe just to clear up a little bit. What the mayor was starting on is, again, after the last meeting, staff felt like we had received direction, and even at the time, Lindsay Colish was here as our city attorney, and she had made the comment that it sounds like, based on everybody's feedback, we need a use agreement. And so staff began working with our attorney, Lindsay, at the time, which is a partner of a coworker of Jeremy's, to develop what you have in front of you. And so, but then the mayor had asked some questions, and so staff had prepared the information that he was going through, is like, how did we get here? And so I don't want to take your thunder, Mayor, but just to kind of, get to you, the point the mayor was trying to make is that how we got there is the point that for the better part of a decade, the plan that had been in place, despite who was in office or what organization was working on it, the plan at that time was the direction that Gray's Lot was intended to be a farmer's market. And so that was the information that he was providing. It's just that it's not like the historic district, and I'm going to put not people in that place, that group as a whole, again, because they had transformed as he was going through in his timeline from what was known as the Downtown Association to the Historic District, an affiliate Main Street organization. So despite the people, the works had been happening for over 15 years to utilize that space as a farmer's market lot. So when the Historic District came to, even as late as January of 2024, and I don't think the mayor had gotten to that point quite yet, that the discussion the entire time was for that parcel to still be a farmer's market. And so then in January, so work was done, and I can just say I was a part of that in throughout the entire year of 2024 to start working on the development of what that would look like. And then in January of 2025, it went to council to we're ready to pull the trigger, we're ready to move forward with this, we're making sure everybody's on the same page, and basically the rug got pulled out from underneath them. So then they pivoted, if I want to use that word, not from the Friends episode, we're going to pivot. And so they pivoted to the use of these two temporary structures that have been then to try and get something done and bring some sort of ongoing, revitalization to try and put some of these plans that have existed now for 13 plus years in place by doing these temporary structures, when all along, so what when the mayor asked, I felt like he needed some background information to say, if we want to talk about individual people all along, whether it's Bonnie getting up here and standing or whoever, they didn't dream up that this was going to be a farmer's market. So I had tried to put together a timeline for him so he could better wrap his head around of how we got to the meeting we were at, of whether we're going to have electric or not, was really just as, again, a temporary fix, because in 2020, up until January 2025, the plan had always been for that to be a farmer's market. So just trying to maybe bridge a few of the gaps and the blank spaces here of, again, how we got to, are we voting on electric or are we not voting on electric? The direction staff took by including the electric in the use agreement, and again, if we were misunderstood of what we heard after the last meeting, I'll take that for that. But that's kind of where we got to. So now how you all want to move forward, that is kind of up to you, but that's where we're at as of right now. The downtown district did not see the use agreement ahead of time. It was in the packet, but again, if you all choose to approve it, it can go to them. They can review it. It's no different than when we sign a contract and we take it to the contractor for them to review, and if then they have problems with it, they can redline it. It would then come back to you for a final approval if there are any changes that they request to be made. So that is why you'll see in your packet, it does say draft across the top of it.
My only question is, if we approve it and they approve it, then is it done, or does it come back and then it's final?
If you approve it and they approve it as is, then it's done.
It's done.
Right.
That's why I think we're hesitating. It's because that's.
But I think we're all in agreement that we'd like to see electricity put there.
Yes, we
just
would all
need
like
to
the
know
electricity there.
how to get to that point. And is it that we don't want to approve the use agreement, but we want to, pull out of the use agreement, we want to give them the right to put the electricity in there?
Well, and I'm not saying that I don't want electrical there. I think that there is a need to have electrical there. I just wanted to better understand from the city's aspect, it was not approved for the farmer's market, or it was not, we weren't gonna have the farmer's market on there to save it for infill. So that's what I want to understand. What is the city's vision for it? If whether that includes electrical or not, I don't care, but that's what I wanna know before we start making any more permanent changes. I realize we can take out electricity, we can do that, but still they're there and they're fixed. It's not temporary at that point. That's my question.
Okay. So I guess we're at a situation now where we need to figure out if the council does not want the use agreement, but they do want the electricity, we just need to figure out how that motion needs to be put into place, so that way we can get the electricity on without having to worry about the use agreement.
Well, is it not an option to just approve it and they can just kick it back to us by voting it down? They still get their electrical?
I think they would have to sign it to then, because.
They would have to sign it for the electrical if we approve it?
Well, yeah, because
Whether it's
then
an
the contract
agreement
doesn't
between two.
exist if the both of them haven't signed it.
Well, I think what Dr. Patterson is getting at is, if it sounds like they're not, probably from what I'm hearing, maybe gonna be on board with the use agreement as is. So if you all approve it tonight, just to get the ball rolling, assuming that's the case, that they're gonna have requested revisions and that sort of thing, they would then submit that. That would then, in theory, come back to you all, and if it's maybe a very slimmed down version, that only addresses, electricity and something else, then that's possible, and that's up to you all to approve that or not.
Can we just slim down the agreement ourselves to just include the electricity and then just pass that as the council and then send that to PHHD?
Yes, if that's your intent, I think, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I think part of the overall justification for this was that there seems to have been some confusion on some of these issues over, sounds like many years, with different people involved, and that the goal of this was, regardless of the specific provisions, the goal of this was to have one document that sort of got everyone on the same page. And so that's why I think the intent was that it addressed more than just the electricity. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. So, I mean, if that's your will, and that you wanted to only address electricity, that's fine. I think there was a bigger picture that they were trying to address by incorporating some of these other provisions, but that's your call.
I had a question of liability, but that would only extend to their specific events. And so, I don't know, I just feel like we made this way more complicated than it did.
Yeah, which is, I think that's, to Zach's point, which was my other question, is if we have electricity to a lot that currently doesn't have electricity. There's electricity there.
There's a panel.
It's already there.
Okay.
That's not what I'm talking about here.
There is.
So you could amend or make a motion to amend the motion to only approve subsection 6 of the use agreement, which is what references the electricity. And I will say what I'm going to call and the boilerplate, which is the general provisions, which is, no, hold on. Subsection 7 is a boilerplate.
Yeah, it's gonna be the subsection 6 and then any general provision. So in other words, anything that's just general for a contract. And I mean, there's a few different pieces of that, but nothing else in terms of actual conditions.
So the recitals and
Right.
whatnot.
So,
go ahead.
okay, so what the motion would be to amend the use agreement to just be section
Subsection 6 of the use agreement and 7, which is the general
6 and 7.
provisions, which basically indemnifies the city.
So that would be the motion. That would then modify the proposed agreement So then it would be a motion to amend the agreement, and then if that passed, then it would be a final motion to approve the agreement as
As
amended.
amended.
Correct.
Okay.
So since I made the motion, I will amend my motion to only include subsection 6 and subsection 7.
So your motion is to approve
To approve with
the
the,
use agreement of just subsection 6 and subsection 7.
Well, you're making you're making a motion to amend your motion.
correct,
Because you already have a motion on the floor with the
Correct.
full, so you're approving to amend your motion to only include subsection 6 and 7 of the use
We're getting
agreement.
there. We're
Okay.
trying.
So now we would
That's
need a
all I'm saying
second.
is We're trying.
now we need a second.
And then you can discuss.
Okay. So the motion has been made. Is,
I will second the motion.
okay. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussions?
Who was the second?
Zach.
As it echoes throughout the chamber. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Niner,
Yes.
Councilman Patterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Deemer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Elliott.
Yes.
Okay.
So now you need a vote.
So now the agreement has been amended to just subsection 6 and 7. So now we need a motion to approve the amended agreement.
That's correct.
All right.
I'll
Here we
make a
go.
motion to approve the amended agreement that only includes subsection 6 and 7.
And I will second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman.
Yes.
Mark, sorry. Am I allowed to approve? Are they allowed to speak?
I'll allow this one, I'm just trying to get through this, but go ahead.
So, Martha Drasny, 122 First Street. So my quick question for you is, would we be able to sit down to look at in the future, to look at the use agreement, and instead of taking and going back and forth and doing that and do a work session to do that?
Yes, I would love to have us set up a work session in the future, so that way both PHHD and the council can get all on the same page with everything going on and go forward, okay?
Nice question, thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on this?
I'm not gonna talk that long. I remember when we were, talking about obviously running for council, mayor, and all these things, and you had referenced two sides and probably how we got here. And I feel like I would like to reference our time together when we talked about future partnerships and things around that. The past is the past. That shit needs to die, y'all. I'm just being honest. Like between two different sides, like whether it's downtown or PHHD or any of this stuff, it's Pleasant Hill moving forward. I do feel like it's semi-unfair to not probably grant a use permit for somebody that's gonna spend money on a property. Especially with them spending money putting electrical there, whether it's just a little bit of conduit and electrical line going to a 100-amp panel. But by all means, like, you can charge me more. You guys will have a private session where I've made an offer to purchase that piece of land. So if you want to sell it, like, I'll oblige and I'll pay more for them putting some conduit in the ground. Other than that, I still feel like the message should be, like, all of us moving forward. Instead of referencing two different sides of the story, like all the way up through our history lesson. Let's just focus on partnerships. Thank you.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Niner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Deemer,
Yes.
Councilman Patterson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Elliott.
Yes.
All right, that's passed. We have electricity.
Thank you.
All right, item number 10, which is bill number 2619, an ordinance of the city of Pleasant Hill, Missouri, establishing a requirement for 2 readings of ordinances and providing procedural guidelines therefor.
I'll just. Okay, good evening. So, in your meeting last time, you asked for ordinance to require 2 readings and ordinances. So what this ordinance would do is make it so that any ordinance brought forward will have to be read at 2 separate meetings. So this doesn't have the staff recommendation since this was a council direction.
Okay.
Do we want to discuss or do we want to just?
I would say, let's go ahead and, I mean, if this is something that we,
I mean, the formal way is to make a motion and the
Make a
second,
motion,
then to have a
the second, and then have a
discussion,
discussion.
but it's, okay, it's your meeting, Mayor.
sometimes I feel that's not the case.
I'll make a motion to approve this, bill number 26-19.
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion and a second to approve bill number 2619. Is there any discussion?
The only discussion that I'd like to have that mentions that we can waive the requirement, what are the avenues for that? I mean, I'm kind of on both sides of the coin on this, because sometimes you have to move a little bit faster than a month. Other time, it's already gone through the process to even be presented to us. What would that look like if that were to be waived in a certain circumstance?
So based on this ordinance, it would have to be a motion made by the council and approved to read it twice in one meeting. And it says only in circumstances in which it is necessary for both readings to occur. So it would kind of require you to have a reason as well.
Require you to what?
To have a reason to read both.
It does not say what that reason necessarily is.
It's open-ended.
Sure, it would be at your discretion.
Okay.
I just feel like that we as the city already get lambasted with comments about we don't get anything done, we take forever, and by doing 2 separate readings at 2 different meetings, we're just prolonging the process and we're not going to get anything done.
Go ahead. Sorry, Brenda. I obviously am for this. This is something I wanted to instill. I believe this is a good best practice. I feel like it is. It's the best path forward to get public input, for transparency, flexibility. I would even like to see, on public hearings, but I know that that's not always possible. But also in cases like for council absences, I think that this could be a handy tool. Make sure we're all on the same board. We all vote as a body. I also did some looking. I think this would be just a great practice. I did some looking and Raymore, Lee Summit, Independence, Blue Springs, Greenwood, not Greenwood, Lone Jack, Kansas City. A lot of these towns do this as a best practice, and it was instituted by the state of Missouri for that reason, as a best practice for transparency. And
I don't see anything not transparent, and I'm sorry, but that seems to be like the buzzword of 2026, that we have to be transparent about everything. And I feel like I've been on the board almost 4 years now. We're very transparent. We're not hiding anything. It's on the agenda, it's on the Facebook. People have an option to come to any meeting they want to come to learn about it, to hear about it. And so I do feel like we're being very transparent. Second readings isn't going to do anything for transparency.
Just to clarify, this is only on ordinances, like law changing things. It's not on buildings, it's just for ordinances that we would be creating.
That is correct, but just to clarify, things like rezonings, final plat approvals, things like that that go through planning and zoning would fall under this as well. So those would require not only their hearing at planning and zoning, but also then 2 readings at city council.
Right. And I think that's why there's the clause in there of like, hey, if there's a reason to not have the second reading, that would be.
That's true, but I will say that that could be confusing for applicants because we give them a timeline of the events that will happen when they submit their projects. And if we can't guarantee that it will get approved in one meeting, that could be frustrating if they don't know up front what the timeline might look like.
We can't leave planning and zoning out of it.
They won't, that's under statute.
An ordinance is an ordinance. I mean, you can't, I don't know that you can say, oh, only on these ordinances or those, like, I mean, if we're gonna have an ordinance on ordinances, it's gotta be all ordinances.
But I also think if you start picking and choosing what you're waiving the second reading for, now you're giving the illusion that you're playing favoritism.
At that point, you might as well just not do the second readings. And, I mean, there's nothing saying that we can't, if there's a situation that comes up that somebody on the council thinks that, like, hey, they want to make a motion to hold this over for another meeting, those motions can be made. And it would just be a matter of the city council members policing that instead of it being an ordinance saying that that's what has to happen.
Would you say again? I'm sorry, I have a terrible memory.
It's okay. So basically what I'm saying is, if we do not pass this ordinance, there's nothing saying that if an ordinance comes up, that you make a motion to hold that ordinance over to the next meeting, right? The situation with that would be, though, that obviously as a motion, it's going to require more people to also agree with that. Whereas right now, we're needing to have, at least 3 people to agree that, hey, we want everything to be read to us. Is there any other discussion? Okay, so we already had a motion and a second for bill number 16, so we will have a roll call vote, then, please.
Councilwoman Niner?
No.
Where's your public comment?
I'm sorry. We didn't have public comment. We're already in the roll call vote at this point. Sorry.
Councilwoman Doomer?
No.
Councilman Patterson?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Elliott?
Yes.
Okay, so that's still 2-1. That still does not pass. Now, with that being said, it doesn't stop us from being able to hold that over. It's just that it would, that's something that would have to be brought up in a motion for other ordinances later on. All right, let's get into the real fun of this meeting, the budget amendments. The first one for consideration is budget amendment 2026-10, the fiscal year 2026 year end.
So this first set of amendments is to do our cleanup process at the end of a budget year. So this is where we go through and finalize all of those, what we had as estimates. These are now the finalized numbers, and we do a cleanup at the end to make sure that it all balances. So I can answer any questions that you might have if you want to dive into any of the specifics.
Is there a motion for budget amendment 2026-10?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
And so let's clarify that that's a motion to approve.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
I have some questions, and I didn't know. The risk management improvements, I know that there's kind of a synopsis, but can you just kind of explain a little bit what those were?
Excuse me. Okay, so the risk management improvements, we had I think a sewer backup or a water issue at the old fire station, or we call it the Royal Building, 2 years ago. So we received some a claim for that.
Okay.
So that's been sitting in the fund balance, and we used that when we redid that building with the bond money.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wasn't sure with the
Yeah.
insurance reimbursement.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I mean, it's. Okay. Any public comment on these budget amendments?
John Self, 205 South Campbell. Unlike the five of you who got this all in advance of this meeting, the 8,800 of us residents did not get it in advance, other than Friday night. So we don't really know what's going on all the time, and there's no time for us to ask questions. Just making a point here.
Thank you.
We got it Friday night, right?
Okay. So there's a motion to approve and a second. We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Niner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Deemer,
Yes.
Councilman Patterson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Elliott.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Next item is budget amendment 2027-01, the water and sewer rate study.
Thank you, Mayor. So this budget amendment is for the current fiscal year. So as you'll remember in our budget workshops, we recommended that we would like to have a consultant come in and do a rate study for us, since it's been several decades, I think, since the last time an outside entity looked at our rates. So we do that process internally, but we thought it was a good time to bring somebody else in, kind of look at our rates and our structure and just, go through what that process looks like. And so at the time, a number that I was given from another city was very different than when we started actually talking to firms. We got everything from 30,000 to 100,000 when we started talking to firms. So at that point, we realized we would need to do a bid process. And so we did not include funds in the budget process because we did not want to estimate, knowing that we would have to come back to you most likely anyway. So what you have before you tonight is a budget amendment for $33,950. And this would authorize me to then move forward with the contract with the firm that we picked during our bid process, which is all included in your packet. But this approval is just for the budget amendment, since that contract is within my purchasing authority.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve budget amendment 2027-01?
I'll make a motion to approve budget amendment 2027-01, water and sewer study rate.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
So we're just approving the budget amendment, not picking a firm.
Correct. And the reason being is, as the city administrator has stated, the contract amount is within her powers to be able to execute that contract. But what we need to do is, because there was not any money put in the budget for it, we need to put the money in the budget for it in order for her to do that. Okay, so, if it was, 3 times that amount or whatever, then it would be a different story. Then it would be a situation where we would be, the ones who would have to pick whatever rate study it would be, or, approve their recommendation. So, it's my understanding that we have, the money in the fund balance for that account that would cover this without any issues.
That's correct.
It would also be a situation where it would not, put our fund balance under the percentage that was in the ordinance from
8%.
the previous,
Yeah,
I think it's 15 now, right?
15% now,
15.
that's correct.
All right, so, is there any other discussion about it? Is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment? All right, then we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councilwoman Niner?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doomer?
Yes.
Councilman Patterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Elliott?
Yes.
All right, that passes. The next budget amendment is Budget Amendment 2027-02, the codification supplements.
All right, got another one for you. Okay, so this budget amendment is to get the inclusion of the UDC in the Design and Construction Manual added to codification. These rather large documents fall outside of the scope of what their full servicing subscription with Civic Plus for our media code supplements entails. So they quoted me an estimate of $10,906. Yeah, $10,906. So in order to get this added to the media code supplements, we would need a $10,906 that we didn't originally have budgeted for, because again, we didn't know that this fell outside of the scope of inclusion of documents into media code.
Do we have an idea of how long it's going to take for them to put all of that in?
We said 3 to 5 months.
Okay.
And keep in mind, it is just an estimate. It'll be based on the number of pages once they actually do start, putting those in there. So it could go down. I can't imagine it would go up, because I think I'd estimate a little higher, but don't put me on that.
Okay.
Oh, and this would, it would come from existing fund balance in the general fund for professional fees, the line item, professional fees.
Okay.
So we passed the UDC in October of last year?
No.
And how are they just now telling us?
I was able to just get all the information to them recently after. So everything that has been passed and gone through is now in their possession.
Okay.
Up to date.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve Budget Amendment 2027-02?
I'll make a motion to approve Budget Amendment 2027-02 for Civic Plus codification estimates for supplement.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just have a quick question. I know what codification means, but just to clarify, this just basically means they're reconciling it, putting it all together so it's an actual official document.
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of it being and correct me if I'm wrong, instead of it being just a list of like every year of what they're gonna put all the pieces in to the puzzle of where
Have all the little hyperlinks and all of that. Okay.
Right, so right now, the UDC exists as a separate document on our website, but if someone goes to Unicode, our code of ordinances, and looks for the development standards, they'll find what we used to have. So this process then takes that UDC document and puts it all in with the rest of the codes.
Okay,
So
that's what I
someone
thought.
only has to look at one place.
Is there any comment from the public?
Will that service update yearly, changes automatically?
So, sir, if you could come up to the microphone.
Well, I'm handicapped, minimally
What wasn't known?
RC 16201 South Norwood, so I'm not a resident, I apologize. But I would just I've encountered some of these before, and I would agree with what they're doing, but it needs to be updated on a regular basis in a year, so you don't have a recurring cost.
Yeah, so the UDC was a singular document that was pretty massive change, okay? And so that, having that change put in, that's why it's beyond the scope of.
So it's never been updated before?
Well, not to that extent. I mean, it's a pretty big. Other ordinances as we go, that's part of our subscription, that's, you know.
Yeah, okay.
That gets covered, but this was a bigger one-time deal.
But that is a good point, but like the sign code is most likely going to change from what the UDC says. So that will, I know it would be updated now, but if we going forward, if we change things, will that include updates as things are changed, or will we have to pay more?
Well, I would believe
That should be part of our
subscription.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a big, huge document like the UDC is. It's pretty big.
Just a clarifying question, this doesn't actually change the date when it went into effect, it's just changing how we present it to the public, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other discussion? We have a motion to approve and a second. We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Niner?
Yes.
Councilman Dumer?
Yes, sorry.
Councilman Patterson?
Yes.
Councilman Elliott?
Yes.
All right, that budget amendment has passed. All right, the next is the municipal judge appointment.
All right, so this is one where staff is seeking some direction from council. So as we did the recognition earlier this evening, our Honorable Judge Roger Potter submitted his resignation notice and his final court date will be tomorrow. And so kind of with that quick turnaround, we followed the municipal code in which the mayor sent a letter to the presiding judge of the Cass County Circuit Court asking them to designate a judge for us in the interim while we, before we appoint a permanent appointment. So they have assigned the Honorable Clayton Jones, which is the municipal judge for the city of Lake Winnebago, as our interim judge, and he will start in June. And so kind of what happens next is, according to the municipal code, the judge is the appointment of the city council. So I am looking for direction from you all on how you would like to go about that. If you'd like us to do a full-blown process as we would any other position for the city where we post it on the website and application review and interviews with the city council, or if there's something else that you're interested in looking at. I will say, just to bring up some background of where we've been previously, last June, our court administrator did leave the city, and at that time, the city council asked staff to bring back some information on what it might look like to not have a municipal court in the city any longer. So that discussion happened last June, and at that time, the council determined that they wanted to keep court in the city, just with the departure of another employee of the municipal court. I just thought I would bring that up for you all as some background if you're interested in directing us to bring back some more information on looking at that again or not.
Also, just to add to you have for your information, under the code, the municipal judge is a 2-year term. So if you decide to move forward and appoint a municipal judge, then essentially you should, that's a 2-year commitment at that point. So that, just keep that in mind. as you're weighing your options, that if you, and that doesn't count for the interim judge, Judge Clayton Jones, that's being appointed by the presiding judge. That's an interim position, that's different. But in terms of if and when you all do make an actual appointment, that's a two-year term, and so you should consider that to be, locked in for 2 years at that point.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, once we appoint somebody for that position, we're gonna have to appoint somebody every 2 years. Like, it could be the same person.
Sure, that's how it's been done. Yeah, so Judge Potter has been reappointed, I don't know how many times that is, but every 2 years since it sounded like 1994, I think is what I heard.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, that is the term, unless again, you all were to change the term in the code, and that's in the code, not the charter, right? So, I mean, you could change the term, but currently as it sits, it's a 2-year term, and so that is how it's been done, is that Judge Potter has just been reappointed by the council every 2 years.
So you're saying that if we appoint a new judge, we go through this process, we're committing ourselves to also holding court for another 2 years?
That's correct,
Okay.
yes. Because once you appoint them to a term, they now have a property interest in that, so they couldn't just be removed from that. So yes, you are committing to essentially the status quo for at least 2 years.
So, how long can the interim tag exist?
Under your code, there's not a set length of time, so the interim, the Judge Jones would be the interim unless and until you all appoint a permanent one.
When do we need to have that answer for you?
Well, I think
They want to know.
I think what staff is asking for right now is direction as to, are we looking to appoint a new municipal judge? Or do we want to take a look at what it would look like if we did not have municipal court here in Pleasant Hill, Illinois? That's I think the question before the House right now.
I think we need to evaluate our options here. From what I understand, municipal court has been losing money, so.
Well, and here's the other thing, obviously, like, directing them to take a look at what those options are does not mean that we're deciding tonight to do away, with court or do anything, to be honest. Like, all we're doing would be to direct staff to take a look at what it would, what that would be.
What are our options?
Also, just to clarify, we're not talking about, totally getting rid of municipal court. We're talking, what the potential discussion would be transferring it from an in-house city municipal court to Cass County. So it's still, municipal court would still exist. If you decided to do something different, I just want to be clear, municipal court will still exist. It just wouldn't be held in Pleasant Hill with a judge appointed by you all any longer. It would be in Harrisonville with a Cass County judge, just to be clear.
I think we make a motion
I think we can just come to an agreement of, if a majority of the council wants to direct it, because there's no decision that needs to be made, we just need to give staff direction.
looking at options.
To look at options. So, if it's a situation where, hey, we're going to appoint, then let's tell them now that, hey, we're going to appoint a judge and let's start that process. Or, if we wanted to explore other options as well, let's have them bring back to us everything that we could do. So, is that?
That's reasonable.
Yeah, I think bring the
options.
Bring the options, yes.
And have that discussion?
I agree.
Okay, so that's consensus to explore the options of what that would look like. All right.
For a point of information, if I may.
We have to confirm the interim judge. No. We don't? Okay.
That was signed by the.
Okay.
My name is Ed Quinlan. I live on East 155th Street, county line. You made a remark that the court's been losing money for the last 2 or 3 years. Are those numbers available so we can study those to see how the court's losing money?
So.
Somebody said that. I heard.
I didn't.
Okay. Are those numbers available as the cost of running? Because moving it to Harrisonville is a big expense too. And it hasn't
Well,
been very
and I think
successful.
that's what we
in the
want to
past.
have out.
And I think
understand.
that's gonna be part of the discussion.
No, I understand, but I'd like to review those numbers myself to be part of the analytical team. Came up with a new word. Are those numbers available?
Yes, the municipal court budget is in the city's
With
budget.
it, with the income and all for the last 2 or 3 years?
Yes.
Okay. And the actual allocated cost for
I
it?
have a copy for you, Ted.
Okay. Does that include the cost for the police officer to be here versus traveling to Harrisonville and all the other overtime that would be involved?
It would not show that, but that would be part of any analysis that we bring forward.
Good, good. Well, I'll get those in. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, the last item for consideration is the conditional use permit amendment review of 400 South First Street.
Thank you, sir. So back in March of this year, Mark Idell brought forth a conditional use for 400 South First Street. Since that time, he has also applied for a lot split of the property. You guys will all know this as the Rock Island Sports Complex here on South First Street. With that lot split, it causes a concern or an issue with the conditional use permit because it does create 2 lots now that conditional use permit would be affected by the lot split because it would only apply to 400 South First Street, which is where the existing building, the sand volleyball courts, and the softball fields currently are. Mr. Idell's request is that the conditional use permit be transferred to 402 South First Street, so that is the second lot that is created. This was brought forth before planning and zoning last week, and their recommendation was to allow for the conditional use to remain with lot 1, which is 400 South First Street, so that's the volleyball courts and the softball courts. To allow for a 90-day conditional use permit at 402, which is lot 2, and require that the property owner come in and rezone that to a proper zoning that would allow for the use with no conditional use required. So staff is looking tonight for your recommendation on that.
So he, I know Mark, they built a new building, I think there, they've got some indoor golf and so that is 402?
Yes.
Whereas the old place is 400?
Yes.
Okay. And in March, the council decided that they would give him 3 years to rezone it to commercial.
Correct.
Can we not just make the same stipulation for 402?
That is your decision.
Okay.
So,
Did we do 3 years? I thought we did less than 3.
You did 3
it
years.
was originally for 10.
Yeah,
And then
it was originally, yeah.
done for 3 with saying that change it to have it rezoned. And then, and now he was wanting it to apply just to 402, but planning and zoning is recommending it stay at 400 and just grant him a 90-day permit at 402.
That's correct.
So basically, then he would have 90 days to get it rezoned for 402.
That is correct.
And is the rezoning at when it gets rezoned, are we just rezoning 402, or are we gonna rezone 400 and 402?
It would be lot 2, so 402 is the only one. At this point is what their recommendation is.
Okay. So,
Yeah, he could choose to do both. It's up to him what he chooses to do.
well, I mean, if they split the lot, I'm assuming that there's another owner for the other.
At this current time, it is still showing the same ownership.
Okay. So if it was a situation where it was a different owner, how does that affect the current special use permit?
So the special use permit stays in effect as long as they continue to use it as a recreational facility or a restaurant/sports bar.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so are you asking us to approve the,
I need your recommendation, whether that is to approve what planning and zoning recommended, or if you guys have a different recommendation.
Well, I think the most fair thing to do is we were blanketing the whole property for 3 years. Just because he split it doesn't change that, in my opinion.
well, I think the situation with it is that the second lot is used for something different than what the special use permit was for. Is that correct?
That is another consideration, yes.
Okay, because, so I think that's where it's at right now, right? Is that, you know, if that second lot was a bar and grill and, you know, the same thing as what the special use was for, then.
Well, it's still recreational. They just don't have food.
I'm sorry, can I?
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry. So staff has also been made aware that there are other functions being promoted at that new building that do not fall under the conditional use permit. So currently, it is being advertised as a special event space or a rentable space, which is not classified as a recreational use or a restaurant/bar and grill.
So that's where the issue lies. That's why planning and zoning is saying a 90-day permit, right? So.
Can you get it rezoned in 90 days?
Yes.
Okay.
I would recommend that we go with the recommendation from planning and zoning.
I agree.
I agree. Can we make that into a
Yes, can we make that into a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we accept planning and zoning's recommendation. I don't know the addresses, but
Lot 1 and 2 of the Rock Island Sports Complex.
Lot 1 and 2 of the Rock Island
Sports Complex.
Sports Complex. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment?
I was present in the planning and zoning meeting, and I'm just asking for clarification again. I thought they had stated that it had been confirmed sold in that meeting, but now you're saying it's not, and I don't know if that affects anything. I'm just.
Yeah, I was under the impression that it was sold as well. It may be a deal where it just has not been filed yet.
Okay.
If there's no other comment, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Minor?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deemer? Yes. Councilman Patterson?
Yes.
Councilman Elliott?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mayor, I don't know if it makes a difference, but according to the Cass County record right now, it still is in the existing.
Okay. Okay, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to RSMO 610-0211 for legal actions, litigation, and attorney-client communication, and RSMO 610-0212 for discussion of real estate.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session for RSMO 610-0211 for legal actions and RSMO 610-0212 for discussion of real estate.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilwoman Minor?
Yes.
Councilwoman Deemer?
Yes.
Councilman Patterson?
Yes.
Councilman Elliott?
Yes.